Welcome everybody to our first online meeting of the Norwich Military Writers Symposium Associates. It's been a long time since we've been able to get together. 2019 was our last meeting when we had a symposium on campus. We had an absolutely outstanding 2020 symposium, an outstanding topic which we will be building on in 2021. Unfortunately, we weren't all able to get together. So we're having this first virtual meeting, and I'm actually hoping it won't be our last virtual meeting because getting together once a year just isn't enough for this group. So what we're going to do today is talk a little bit about our accomplishments in the last year. We're going to go through some of the material that's coming up next year. We have an address by President Anarumo to announce some big news related to the Pritzker Military Library and some funding opportunities. And Travis is going to introduce the 2021 symposium. In a few days, we're going to have a live Q&A where Travis and I will be able to meet with you guys online, ask questions, answer questions, and then of course we're all going to see you on campus this fall or online this fall, because the hybrid event that we pioneered in 2021, or 2020 rather, is going to be a permanent fixture for the Colby and for the Military Writers Symposium. This is not only going to bring an on-campus presence, but it's going to bring in a worldwide audience, as we proved in 2020. With that, I'm going to hand over to Travis. He's going to introduce President Anarumo and talk a little bit about the sorts of things we're doing in 2021. I'll be back in a little bit to talk about the associates, who we are, what we do, and how you can get involved.
Pierce, thank you very much for your kind introduction. It has been a privilege and honor to work with you over these past several years on the Military Writers Symposium. Thank you for all you've done for the symposium and all that you've done for the associates. Norwich University's 24th president, Dr. Mark Anarumo, Colonel, United States Air Force, retired, has blazed a trail as a distinguished military officer, organizational leader, academic, and thinker. Some of his career highlights include his oversight of complex multinational operations as Vice Commander of the 39th Air Base Wing in Incirlik Air Base, Turkey, and most recently as a permanent professor and department head for the Center of Character and Leadership Development at the United States Air Force Academy. At the Academy, President Anarumo grew the Research Center into a thought and practice trendsetter for effective individual and institutional leadership. As a military officer who first enlisted in the Army and then spent 26 years in the Air Force, he earned his undergraduate, graduate, and doctoral degree at Rutgers University. He is also a former National Security Fellow at Harvard University. He has taught and published widely on political violence, criminal justice, leadership, and character development. The top three priorities for his administration in his first year were to lead the Norwich community through the COVID-19 pandemic, which he did successfully, to address academic, operational, and financial priorities for the institution, and to advance Norwich's 200-year-old tradition of educating citizen soldiers to build and defend the Republic. It is my honor and privilege to introduce President Mark Anarumo.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Dr. Morris, for that very kind introduction. And thank you also, Dr. Travis Morris and the incredible staff at the Peace and War Center for all you do, not just for the Military Writers Symposium, but for all of Norwich University. I'm here today to highlight the philanthropic future of the symposium, and in particular to highlight and to thank the Pritzker Military Foundation for the recent incredible gift. As many of you know, under the leadership of Colonel Jennifer Pritzker, the Foundation has been a long-time supporter of not just the symposium, but Norwich University as a whole. This past spring of 2021, the Foundation committed $650,000 to the symposium and also posed a $500,000 matching gift challenge to the university to help grow this endowment. If Norwich meets this goal, the Pritzker Military Foundation will have gifted the university and the symposium $1,150,000, and I can't express my gratitude enough for that incredible generosity. The matching gift challenge that we have been issued at Norwich University will run through 2025. Through this initiative, Colonel Pritzker and we here at Norwich hope to make the symposium financially self-sustaining forever. Should Norwich meet the task, the total endowment will be $1.5 million, the generous base that we need to support this program in perpetuity. Another very meaningful component of Colonel Pritzker's gift was her desire to honor the extraordinary legacy of Carlo D'Este. Therefore, Norwich University was proud to name this endowment the Carlo D'Este Military Writers Endowment. And the funds raised for this challenge will all go to support this endowment. I know that Shirley, Carlo's widow, is touched by this remembrance and is very proud to have Carlo's name associated with this program for which he was so proud. Since its founding in 1996, the symposium has exemplified what it means to be forward-thinking. And we owe a great debt of gratitude to both former President Todd and former President Schneider for establishing this program and bringing it forward. It is now our turn to be forward-thinking. To keep this program perpetuated here at Norwich University and continue its advancement as the first of its kind at an American university, I need to call on everyone to be involved in adding to this endowment and supporting this initiatives. I'm asking all of our associate members and all the friends of the Peace and War Center, the symposium, and Norwich University to lead by example with the gift of this endowment. $500,000 by 2025 is an ambitious goal to set, but I believe if we all work together, we will achieve success. I'm very confident that we can get here together. Through the visionary partnership of the Pritzker Military Foundation, we have an opportunity to permanently house this incredible, one-of-a-kind event while also celebrating the legacy of Carlo D'Este. Let's answer this call to action and meet the challenge together. You'll soon be receiving a letter from myself and from our development office and from the Peace and War Center. There'll be many communications coming through explaining how you can get behind this initiative. If you have any questions now or after the letter is received, feel free to reach out to me personally, to Dr. Morris, to the staff at the Peace and War Center, or anyone in the Norwich University Development Office. I thank you again, each of you, for the many ways you champion this wonderful symposium. Norwich together, and Norwich forever.
Thanks very much, Travis, and thank you, President Anarumo, for that outstanding news and for those great remarks. It's a pleasure to have you involved in the Norwich Military Writers Symposium and in the Colby Award process. So I said I'd come back and talk a little bit about what the Norwich Military Writers Symposium Associates are, who we are, and what we do on campus, and how we can get you involved. First, the group was founded shortly after the Military Writers Symposium was created almost 25 years ago. A group of enthusiastic Norwich alumni really took a hold of the Colby Award and the concept of bringing some of the best military writers, current affairs writers, and other high-level policy individuals to campus where they could meet and interact with cadets and have a chance to create an outstanding event on the Norwich campus. Over the years, this group has helped with fundraising, helped with networking, and helped build the Colby into what it is. Some of these early founders included the Schultz family, my predecessor and friend Ron Lotz, who was the previous chairman of the Colby. And they were joined by early supporters such as William Butterworth, who you may know as W.E.B. Griffith, who was inspired by a Norwich alumni in much of his writing, and by Carlo D'Este, who sadly we lost last year. Carlo chaired the Colby Selection Committee, but also was heavily involved in the Military Writers Symposium and made it a point to attend every year. It was an absolute honor for our cadets and for all of those involved in the symposium to meet such a great historian and author. The symposium, the Colby Award, and the associates were also enthusiastically supported and nurtured by President Emeritus Rich Schneider. The event started under his leadership and was one of the first new events that came to campus after he took over as president. And it was something that he took great pride in helping to grow. Thank you, Rich Schneider, for your involvement and for your continued involvement. Today, the Associates of the Military Writers Symposium are one of the core groups on campus. There are about a dozen groups at Norwich that really represent a core of what the university does and how it connects with its constituencies, its communities, its students, its faculty, and alumni. These are groups like the Partridge Society, the Alumni Association, the Hockey and Sports Boosters, the Cemetery Commission, and others. These groups are critical engagement points for the university. They're places where alumni, students, parents, members of the local community, faculty, and others can engage with the university. They help guide Norwich University, and they've contributed to the university's success for generations. The Norwich Military Writers Associates is one of those groups and one of those core organizations on campus. The function of the associates is to provide guidance and assistance for the on-campus event each year. But we're not limited to a single event each year. The associates are involved with the Colby Award. The associates have provided 2 fellowships, which we'll talk a little bit about, which are core events for both graduate and undergraduate students. We've hosted or helped sponsor events on campus such as a movie night, where we got to examine an important World War I film and later discuss it with some noted historians. The Associates is finding a way to work in many, many different areas on campus. In 2020, the Associates were actually critical in helping the Norwich Military Writers Symposium very quickly shift gears to go from an on-campus event to an online event. Well, we could have simply canceled the event and lost a tremendous opportunity. Instead, we had one of the largest audiences and one of the biggest reaches ever for a Colby. We saw hundreds of attendees. People are still watching it in video postings where the event is now live for anyone who wants to click on it. And we reached people in dozens of countries. So in future, we're looking to take a campus event and hybridize it with an online event because we now understand the reach. Associates also provide networking. This is critical when it comes to attracting top talent, whether it be writers, speakers, policymakers, or others who attend the on-campus event. It's these people who make the Military Writers Symposium a unique event, both on campus and even nationwide or in academia. There really are few other places that draw in such an amazing group of individuals who are talented writers who are shaping world policy. In the last year, for example, we had Medal of Honor winner David Belavia, who made an amazing impact on students, or alumni such as Ian Brown, now a major in the United States Marine Corps and a Chinook pilot. His book that was presented at the Military Writers Symposium on the OODA loop and how decision-making is made in combat had a tremendous effect on cadets. Not only to meet one of their own who was both an author and an accomplished Marine officer, but to understand something about decision-making in combat. These types of people are what our associates are able to attract, and through their contacts and through their abilities are able to help us bring to campus. In addition, we reach out to the student community. One of the absolute core missions to involve both cadet and civilian students in events that can sometimes be life-changing for them. In some cases, people may not even realize when they attend a dinner or meet an author to get their book signed what kind of person they're meeting. We've seen cadets who've come back years later and said, you know, meeting that general or being at that seminar was actually life-changing for me. In fact, our Schultz Fellow, Nicole Navarro, class of 2020, was so engaged in the research that she did on the weaponization of water that she changed her military MOS from flight school to surface warfare so that she could be closer to the literal areas where she wants to be able to impact and pursue things she learned about as a Schultz Fellow. That's the sort of life-changing effect that we have on our cadet and student populations, and why the event is so critical on campus. Last, the associates have provided financial support. For example, helping fund the Showalter and Schultz Fellowships, providing operating funds each year for the event to take place. Even simple things such as buying tickets to help cadets or civilian students attend the annual campus dinner. We're going to be looking in the future for some additional fundraising as we look to match the Pritzker donation and the funds coming from the Pritzker Military Library. This is part of what our mission is, but it really isn't the whole mission. That said, financial support is something that the associates help rally, whether it's through corporate matching dollars, whether it's through personal contributions, as well as assisting in efforts such as the Pritzker fundraising that President Anarumo talked about earlier. Continued funding for the Showalter and Schultz Fellowships, along with the work to help us secure the matching funds from the Pritzker Military Library, are going to be a great mission for the associates in the years ahead. So who are the associates? Actually, the associates are anyone. The associates are me, the associates are you. There's a broad swath of people who become Military Writers Associates. We have members of the alumni and faculty. We have cadet and civilian students on campus. We have professors and academics from other institutions, authors and potential authors who attend the seminar simply to learn about the craft of writing have become members of the associates. Even members of the Northfield community who value the event and look forward each year to being able to meet some of the greatest authors and policymakers the country and sometimes the world have to offer come into campus and take part in the event. We're actually open not just to people from Norwich, but to the Vermont and the Northfield community. It's one of the touchstones that bring us closer to the town Norwich is located in. In short, the associates are people just like you. You don't have to be an alumni or be directly connected to Norwich to be involved in the associates. You merely have to have a love of the craft of writing and an interest in what's happening in military history, foreign policy, any number of things that come up each year in our online and on-campus discussions. Last of all, joining the Norwich Military Writers Symposium Associates is easy. There will be a link posted later in the video, and of course when we do the live Q&A, we'll be able to answer more questions. There's no cost. If you email us, we'll put you on the mailing list. We have an e-newsletter that we're getting ready to send out, and you'll be able to attend online meetings such as this, or come to campus in the fall. We have an outstanding topic this year and some amazing speakers, and we highly encourage you to join. Right now, we can celebrate 25 years of success as the Norwich Military Writers Symposium has become one of the premier events and the premier organizations on campus. We showcase Norwich's core values. We showcase Norwich's love for education, for reaching out to cadets, and for current events, making people better citizens by giving them a much broader view of what's going on in the world around them. And with the generous support of the Pritzker family and the Pritzker Military Library, and with Norwich's matching efforts, this will keep on going on campus in perpetuity with your help and support. Later this month, we'll have a live Q&A where we can update everyone on what's happening and answer your questions. I hope to see all of you there. Bring friends, bring people who are interested in this. Forward the link to this video if you know anyone who is potentially interested. And we'd love to see you on campus in November of 2021, or we'd love to have you attend online. And since I don't want to steal Travis's thunder by announcing this year's topic, I'm going to wait until he's up next so he can tell you a little bit about what we're doing this fall. What I will say is it's going to be an incredibly timely topic. It builds off last year's topic of the weaponization of water. It plays off Tony Piscatelli's Norwich Pro lectures that he did last year as part of the Military Writers Symposium, which were incredibly well received, with some 250 people getting certificates for attending that topic. Thank you, President Anarumo. Thank you, Travis. And thanks to our generous supporters, past, present, and future. And thanks for attending today. I look forward to seeing you all at the Q&A in the next few weeks.
Pierce has asked me to give all of you an update on some recent developments that have been happening within the Peace and War Center and the Military Writers Symposium. So first, I'd like to just make the announcement that it is my also honor and privilege to work with Alex Kershaw. which some of you may know that he is a world-renowned World War II historian and best-selling author. He has agreed to chair the selection committee for the annual William E. Colby Award. And this is a 3-year appointment. Kershaw succeeds Carlo d'Este, who we all know and love. And for those of you that don't, Carlo d'Este is a 1958 Norwich University graduate who became a decorated United States Army colonel and a renowned military historian, and he's also the co-founder of Norwich University Military Writers Symposium. Alex Kershaw is a British-born journalist and public speaker. He's authored numerous books, all on the New York Times bestsellers, and most recently, his book, The Liberator, was made into a drama series aired by Netflix in the year 2020. As award selection chair, he will lead the selection process. He will attend the Norwich University Military Writers Symposium, and he'll engage with authors, professors, and students while he is here at Norwich. Next, I'd like to give you an update on the Colby Award. This year, 2021, the William E. Colby Award is given to Mark Trainer for his book, A Quiet Cadence. The Colby Award is presented for the past 22 years annually to a first solo work of fiction or nonfiction that has made a major contribution to the understanding of military history, intelligence operations, or international affairs. A Quiet Cadence, published by Naval Institute Press, is the story of a young U.S. Marine in combat and dealing with its aftermath over the years since the war. Trainer grew up in Rutland, Vermont, and he's a graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy and commissioned into the U.S. Marines as a second lieutenant in 1968. He's a rifle platoon leader in Vietnam and an artillery battery commander and leadership instructor who later served on the boards of the National Defense University and at the Naval Academy. We will be thrilled to host Mark on our campus this November. Next, I'd like to discuss this year's recipient of the Schultz Fellow. The Schultz Fellowship is a wonderful opportunity for a student to conduct some original research on a topic associated with the symposium. The fellowship exists to recognize and remember Dick Schultz, class of 1960, who loved the symposium, was an incredible supporter of our initiatives, and through the generosity of their family and other donors, we are able to provide this fellowship for a student each year. The Schultz Fellow for 2021 is Lawrence Simpkins. Lawrence Simpkins, class of 23, hails from New London, Connecticut, and chose to attend Norwich to obtain a commission as an officer in the United States Marine Corps with an eye on military intelligence. He's a triple major in political science, history, and studies in war and peace. He's also a member of the men's rugby team and is a voracious reader, enjoys reading about history, philosophy, and literature. After graduation, he hopes to pursue a master's program in history eventually, and his research project focuses on China efforts and ambitions in the Arctic. And finally, I would like to announce the theme for this year's Military Writers Symposium, which will be taking place in November 4 through November 5. Typically, the symposium will be held in October, but this year, due to our hosting the International Symposium of Military Academies in October, will be taking place in November. But this year's theme, Global Conflict or Cooperation, Evolving Arctic Security. This will be a hybrid event and tackles one of our globe's most pressing problems, the power struggle that's taking place in the North American Arctic. We'll focus on economic issues, environmental components, political security, and dimensions of cooperation and conflict. Our panelists will consist of world-renowned scholars and authors, and we look forward to you participating and joining us in that event. And finally, I would just like to thank all of you for your incredible support over the years for the Military Writers Symposium. The associates are an incredibly important group that provides the necessary support and encouragement to continue the Military Writers Symposium and the Colby Award. So, in advance of seeing you in November, thank you for taking the time to listen to our message. Thank you for supporting the endowment developmental process, and also thank you very much for all the things that you have done in support of the Military Writers Symposium. Thank you very much.